1,000 lakes and 1,000 legends. History gleams on every branch, in every tree-lined stage. The echoes of thunderous horsepower, the classic tracks. Myhimpää, Mökkiperä, Ounin pohja, Ruuhimäki. The deafening silence, the hushed anticipation, as they reach for the sky, and then speed that lingers. There will always be a time and a place for a new legend. Welcome to my home, where dream comes true.
Finland, national pastime rally, speciality producing world champions. The WRC's spiritual home, a spectacular setting for our return to action after the summer break. Hello, I'm Kevin Piper. It's round 8 of the 2013 World Championship. Welcome to the Neste Oil Rally Finland. Coming up, a white-knuckle, ultra-fast, high-flying ride through the Finnish forests, joining thousands of rally-mad locals for the self-styled Gravel Grand Prix. There's nothing quite like it.
I must say, when you're driving for first time these stages, then you feel a bit scared and you're never sure about the correct line.
You can say that again. Things are about to get a touch too close for comfort as we witness a dramatic game of cat and mouse with emotions running high.
It's about safety. You should know to pull out of the way. It's a big boys game.
And it's widely regarded as the greatest stage in the sport, the legendary Onninpoja. So what makes this famous stretch of gravel so special?
You're all the time flying sideways and there's really, really big jumps. And it's a real roller coaster, and because the speed is so high, it's a real challenge to get it perfect.
We shall see. Finland takes us into the second half of the season, dominated so far by Sébastien Ogier with 4 wins. The Frenchman looking to continue where he left off following that emphatic victory last time out in Sardinia. Once again, we're surrounded by water, this time lakes, thousands of them. Rally Finland based once again by the banks of Lake Payan in the university town of Jyväskylä, 3 hours drive north of capital city Helsinki. The Finns have traditionally dominated their home rally over the decades, 52 wins from 62 events, and the country's produced some of the greatest drivers of all time, for whom nothing compares to a home victory.
Your home territory, it's very, very special feeling. Of course, when you're really focusing, when you're really pushing hard, always you can feel you're at home.
You go every rally in flat out, but maybe here you go 110%. Flat out, start to finish line.
To win your home rally, it's always a dream. And when I won it first time, it was fantastic. And then I did it 6 times more.
Sébastien Loeb went some way towards breaking the natives' domination here. 3 wins in 5 years before his retirement. Now, fellow Frenchman Sébastien Ogier is looking to join an elite group of non-Scandinavians to upset the locals.
Of course, I will be very pleased to join them on the list, but I know it's going to be a tough job, but it's my target. I've been performant in the past here, and I know I can fight for the victory.
Ogier is certainly a man in form. 4 victories, 2 second places this season, giving him a commanding lead in the championship. 64 points ahead of Volkswagen teammate Jari-Matti Latvala. A dream debut season in the WRC for the new VW team, leading the Manufacturers' Championship by 46 points ahead of Citroën. It's a big weekend for Mikko Hirvonen, Jyväskylä, his hometown, and a promising start. The Finn quickest in qualifying, so earning the right to select his starting position for the rally proper. Hirvonen looking to kickstart a disappointing season to date by adding to his one home victory, deciding to run as the last of the 14 WRC cars with an eye on the weather.
14 is going to be our road position, and it was quite a difficult choice, so I'm happy that everybody have actually been following me, because if it doesn't rain a lot, then it's better to be further back and the road will be getting a little bit faster in some places, but if it rains a lot, then it would be better to be first.
Slowest of the qualifiers, local privateer Rico Taco. No option but to lead them away in his Mini, ahead of the Czech Martin Prokop. Further back, the main contenders, Flying Finn, Jari-Matti Latvala 10th, ahead of Yevgeny Novikov, Thierry Neuville, Ogier and Hirvonen. Here's what lies in store. 6 stages on the opening day, starting with a short run up and down the ski resort of Himos. Torito returns after almost 30 years. The first run through will feature as our stage of the day. Here we go then, time to resume the 2013 World Rally Championship with John Desborough.
So we're in the land of 1,000 lakes and some unbelievably fast roads. That's why Finland empties for this event. Out of the forest they come on their annual pilgrimage to see the latest generation of the greatest drivers. And on the line, pulse banging in his temples, the first Finn to go, Juho Hänninen. And you heard what they said, flat out, the champion said, the whole way, all 320 kilometres, they can't mean that, surely. So up through the gears, off a tarmac start, which is unusual for Finland. And hold on tight, everybody, because this is the part where the road falls away from you. And Hänninen collects the first corner of the week and loses his first fillings. And this little moment will also have dented the man's composure quite a bit. Stage 1 is a very short one, just 4.5 kilometres. And here is one of the favourites for the weekend. Another Finn, Jari-Matti Latvala, poor in qualifying, a little bit frustrated now and keen to start well. Now this is our championship leader, Sebastian Ogier. Sebastian has won this event for the past 2 years. The trouble is it was the other Sebastian Loeb, so best to avoid that comparison for a while, I reckon. And Ogier here discovering that a little less can be a little more. When he doesn't keep his car on the racing line, the grip is going. Up comes our first clock. So Latvala, Ogier's teammate, his time is at the top in green. Ogier's running clock on the bottom. The finish line is coming up here. It's a slow one after the right-hander. And he monsters Latvala by more than 1 second. Sebastian who? Ogier's boss at VW is Jos Capito, and he insists that this man, Mikko Hirvonen, is the favourite to win in Finland. Most, though, admit that Mikko's results so far this year mean he is driving to keep a future with Citroën. Who does our opening clock favour? Ogier's done and dusted. His time is the one in green. That's the one that Mikko has to beat. Who is the sharpest on this taste of Finns to come? Mikko is the slower.
Ilmaton was a little bit nervous, and he said it would be nice to see at least one stage time, and we've done it. So we've done it now. So now we're gonna go for it.
Fighting talk from the Finn. Confirmation, Ogier's quickest out of the blocks, just over a second up on Latvala and Hirvonen. They in turn ahead of Osberg and Novikov. Then it's Thierry Neuville in 6th, Chris Meek 8th. Hänninen completes the leaderboard after his bumpy start. We are up and running at the famous Rally Finland. Local hero Mikko Hirvonen promising to go for it in front of his home fans. And it won't be long before these notorious tracks claim their first victim. It's time for some running roadside repairs next in a desperate attempt to stay in contention.
The car is drivable now. but we will lose a lot of time.
We'll be back, lapping up the action lakeside in just a moment. Welcome back to the Neste Oil Rally Finland, the land of 1,000 lakes, offering another stunning setting for the WRC World Tour. Championship leader Sébastien Ogier picking up where he left off before the mid-season break by winning the opening stage, but barely a second ahead of the chasing pack, including this man, Norwegian Mads Osberg, heading for the forest now on this opening day, guided through the narrow tracks by co-driver Jonas Andersen. Mads Osberg looking for an improvement in the second half of the season, certainly fewer crashes, and he appears to be in a good rhythm on this opening day. Finland, of course, renowned for its fast-flowing high-speed stages and trademark jumps. The stages are littered with them, and tackling those jumps, or yomps as the locals call them, is a challenge in its own right.
The first thing, you need to be confident with your car, and you need to know what the car is doing on gravel. In Finland, your car needs to be stable, it needs to be, still you need to have the grip, you need to be having the traction, and it needs to jump well. And if it doesn't jump well, then the problems will start, and then it will influence for the whole driving, because then you will be afraid. There is a couple of techniques. You can do the jump, you can do that, you brake completely, and then come off the brakes and you go absolutely full throttle over it. Or you can lift a bit like I do. Or then there is even a third style, that you come there and you just keep the full throttle and then you just hold with the left foot brake. But for me the risk is that moment that if you do this, I think the rear might be going a little bit down, and it might do this element that actually the rear is kicking up from the jump. What I would do is maybe just come off the throttle and just, because then I just want to make that the car will fly straight, be straight, and then back on the throttle. The idea is they should not lift the front, it should not lift the rear. It jumps straight up, straight down like a cat. When you're confident the car is good and your mind is right, you really have an enjoyment, and you just love the fact that you can set the car in the corner and you know how it will come out, how it will turn, how it will jump, how it will land. And then it gives you the enjoyment, because you know that how far you can push the car between the trees over the jumps.
And the next place we're heading is stage 2, Tori 2, our feature stage on this opening day of Rally Finland. A chance to compare and contrast the progress of the leading runners through a short section of this fast, narrow, tree-lined route. It's Vintage Finland with John.
So here we go, and Jyväskylä gave Jari-Matti Latvala a round of applause as he headed out of the service park this morning, but their heads will drop when they absorb the news of this. Jari-Matti has walloped a rock. Now you can't see the damage here, but watch the crew rattle. And just where we come to the point in the stage where we put in our comparative split. And that is so typical of the damage you get if you cut corners or drop off the line at speed. No warning, and this very similar to what happened to the Finn in Mexico back in March. And there is always only one winner. Jari-Matti apologises to his co-driver, and the clock here is witness to the time that he's losing to the Norwegian Mads Osberg. This has destroyed the left rear wheel and also damaged the suspension. And remember, as Kevin told us, there's no opportunity to repair that until the end of the day. VW are preparing plan B. This is a car driving like a lawnmower, and about at that speed too. And look at the clock that we've got. Over 15 seconds has been dropped already. And this is where the damage was done. All over in such a split second, and the weekend ruined as a result of it. Let's get back to him in a while. Next, let's drop in on Belgium's Thierry Neuville, who is going through this section of stage 2 at pace. He's on it, and we'll follow him. Neuville was 3 years old when this part of Finland was last used in this event. It was back in the Group B days of 1985. Timo Salonen won that year in a 2:05 T16. Might be too early to remember that only 4 non-Scandinavians have ever won this high-octane event before. Now, did you hear the word jump? Let's have a look and see what we've got. Is your stomach going? More to the point, how he's comparing to Mats Osberg, who has set the fastest time through here, and he is quicker over our split than Osberg by 9/10 of a second. Because of stuff like this. Some drivers spend years trying to tackle this and tackle it in style. That's what high-definition cameras were made for. Sébastien Ogier, we are hearing, has backed off, perhaps spooked by what has happened to Jari-Matti Latvala. So, Mikko Hirvonen was the last Citroën out of service this morning, last on the road, leaving time for a final espresso, but he cut a lonely figure as he climbed into this car. His contract is up at the end of the year. His team may reveal next year's lineup sometime after the German round of the championship. Will he be in it? Mikko says he fought hard here a year ago, only to see the win go to Sébastien Loeb. He says a win would be a great way to thank the fans. And listen to this, he's getting plenty of guidance from Jarmo Leitner, his co-driver. But how does he compare on our split? He's dropped time. A whole second. Well, let's put all the times together in our leaderboard. Well, he's quicker than the Frenchman in here, but will you look at that time set by Thierry Neuville? And this is our bruised Jari-Matti Latvala. And now you can see the damage to the rear left, limping. This guy knows he can't stop at this stage. At this point, he's trying to find out exactly what he hit, assessing the damage, and all of it at a snail's pace.
Jari, I can see what's happened. Where did it happen and what did you do?
Just before coming to the wide road on the junction, it was the right-hand corner over the crest. The car was a little bit lifting and went a little bit wide, and basically when I went wide, there was straight away stone outside, and I hit the stone and it broke the suspension from the rear.
So cruel luck for Jari-Matti Latvala, desperate to impress in front of his home fans, forced into running repairs to that rear suspension by the roadside. Co-driver Mika Anttila relaying images and information back to the Volkswagen crew in service.
At the moment, I cannot figure out how we get anything what we can do. The car is drivable now, but we will lose a lot of time.
Another reminder that at the top level of this particular international sport, even the best have to get their hands dirty occasionally. They've done what they can. Latvala and Anttila will return to the car and be able to limp to the next stage. But it looks as if the Finns' challenge is already all but over. Contrast his fortunes with those of Thierry Neuville, the Belgian out in front, sharing the top spot with Mikko Hirvonen. The two on an identical time as we now move on to the 15 kilometres of Keukenmaar.
So, let me just get this right. After 12.8 kilometres, we have joint leaders here and not even a cigarette paper to separate them. They, being this man, Belgium's finest, Thierry Neuville, who, as well as jamming his right foot into the floor of that car, is also coming to terms with the thrill of leading one of the all-time great events in motorsport. Albeit in the company of Mikko Hirvonen. But in stage 3, Neuville and Hirvonen are both going to be overshadowed by the stage time of Sébastien Ogier. Ogier may have backed off earlier, but not here. He takes almost a second off Neuville, 1.7 seconds off Chris Meek, and now it's Neuville and Ogier that lead this rally. Yes, you've guessed, they are the new pair in a tie for the lead after 26 kilometres.
Thanks, John. Yes, confirmation that it really could not be closer here in Finland. The locals won't like it, but it's France and Belgium leading the way. So one of the big guns out as the crews assemble for a short regroup. Few expected to see young Belgian Thierry Neuville leading the way in the Finns' backyard.
I have to be very careful many times, and you are losing. Sometimes you gain because you're a bit too fast, but most of the time you lose. So, okay, it's going well.
I was a bit, too much cautious, of course, in stage 2 when I heard on the radio just before the start that Thierry got a problem and hit something. So then I was a bit scared to know where there was a rock. So I was, of course, really cautious on this one. But on the other, I was okay.
But Latvia's dreams of a second home win shattered by that rock in stage 2. It's been a valiant effort, though, to keep that Polo R on the road.
We have alternator belt twisted on the suspension arm, which is holding it. But then from the cross member, we don't have anything holding, and that's why wheel is moving front and back. It was my mistake. Sometimes you are lucky, sometimes you are not, and it wasn't my luck.
Jari-Matti Latvala already out of contention in his home rally then, leaving fellow Finn Mikko Hirvonen to fly the flag. And going well, tying for the lead with Thierry Neuville after stage 4, but then problems in 5. The organisers splitting the teams into groups, delaying Hirvonen's pass through the stage. The joint leader caught in the worst of a passing rain shower, and he loses valuable time.
There's so much water in the rust. We lost 20 seconds now on that one. Really good system from the organisers. Really, really good system.
Hirvonen far from happy then. He slips down to 5th, Mads Osberg taking advantage to move up to 2nd. And what a day for the young Belgian Thierry Neuville. He's the overnight leader. A good day too for the returning Chris Meek, the British driver, 6th, ahead of Yevgeny Novikov and Andreas Mikkelsen. So frustration for the Finns, and they're not the only ones struggling to hide their emotions as things get a touch too close for comfort on day 2 of Rally Finland. And one of the top runners has a huge high-speed scare. We'll find out who next. It's day 2 of Rally Finland, and we've a surprise overnight leader, young Belgian Thierry Neuville, ahead of championship leader Sébastien Ogier. A busy day to come, 9 stages in total, almost 12 hours of combined timed and road sections featuring classic Finnish stages such as Mokipera and Lankamar. Around 150 kilometres racing against the clock to come as we rejoin John.
Kevin, the locals will tell you this is where the proper Finland starts, and if overnight leader Thierry Neuville, you want to really bolster your reputation, then this is the place to do it. But Neuville drops over 11 seconds in here and leaves the lead back there in the forests. Thursday was a bit of a non-event for Yevgeny Novikov. That is all about to change for the Russian rocket. And trees here in Finland must be avoided at all costs.
Crest shot middle, right one for the long cut guts. 50.
Avoided, that is, even if you have to make a little bit of pizza with your steering wheel. That's whether they are living, like these trees, or logged, like these. A touch too much on the crest, and Yevgeny is spitting splinters. Now, about to appear in the distance behind him and get caught up in this little bit of, what should we call it? This bit of lumberjacking is Britain's Chris Meek, who is the next one on the stage behind him. And after Novikov has sorted himself out, he discovers that Meek is flying. He was 2 minutes behind the bewildered woodcutter, but no more. Here he appears on our screen. Meek is building speed. Novikov has a smashed windscreen. Meek is in his pomp, and what he expects is for Novikov to do the right thing here and move out of the way, but he won't, and the pair are about to fall out in a very big way. He won't get out of the way there.
250. Keep right for long 6 left.
And he won't get out of the way there. So co-driver Chris Patterson has an idea.
Hit him a nudge. Into flat 6 right. In over crest, okay, and 6 left through dip, keep in and right height, 5 right plus.
Chris Meek has had enough.
450. Calm down, Chris. Now look.
And sticks himself in that ditch.
I don't know where we are. 5 left. Right. And a 6 left.
Finally,
crest, 250, keep
Chris Meek gets the chance to pass by.
Crest, keep straight and long 6 right into.
Novikov has not read the rules of the road. And I tell you what, you can come to Finland for years and you'll never see a sight like that. Chris Meek leaks a lot of time. He drops to 7th place and he feels like reading the riot act to the Russian.
Chris, the car's covered in mud, obviously behind Evgeny. You're not happy at all.
No, it's not about my race. My race is I try to be comfortable, but it's about safety. You should know to pull out of the way. It's a big boys' game.
Talking of the big boys, Sébastien Ogier, staying out of trouble, even as his rivals go all harum-scarum on him. And whose car, look at this, the picture of tranquility in comparison to Meek and Patterson. And it's Ogier who emerges from these forests with a lead of 0.2 of a second over Mads Østberg.
Train gauche 128 000 encore de léger gravette. 128 000 encore de léger gravette. Qui ouvre 200 mètres. Train droite 120 plus 1000 cordes. Droite 120 plus 1000 cordes.
Finland, a place where cars really do fly.
So a dramatic and emotion-charged start to proceedings on day 2, after which it's Ogier just ahead of Østberg, Neville third, then the 2 Finns. Chris Meek only dropping 1 place but losing more than 20 seconds after that frustrating game of cat and mouse with Novikov. All of which takes us on to our next big challenge here in Finland, Mokipera, one of the classics. Just under 14 kilometres of flat-out undulating forest track. We'll be focusing on a blisteringly quick 2-kilometre section around halfway through the stage. Our eye in the sky WRC heli-telly giving us a sneak preview of what lies ahead. Twisty, snaking roads, it's our stage of the day.
Right then, here we go. And who's this? Herring around the corner. Well, this is a new-look Mikko Hirvonen. So let's time him. Let's see how his speed compares with Jari-Matti Latvala, his rival for the hearts of the Finnish fans. You're listening to the voice of co-driver Jarmo Lehtinen, by the way, still angry, ranting at the organisers about what he called that Mickey Mouse stage that cost him 16 seconds last night. The good news is for Mikko, this is Mokipera. This is Hirvonen's backyard. He's from here. And from this point onwards, we can settle back and enjoy Mikko right on the limit. Here we go. And as your stomach just resettles, check the clock, and Mikko Hirvonen is 1/10 of a second faster than Latvala. Jari-Matti is out of the battle for the victory here, of course, ordered to get as many points possible for his team in the championship, and that may allow rally leader Sébastien Ogier a bit more freedom. The clocks are up then, and he might just stretch his legs here, get his foot down even more. Don't cut, calls the co-driver. Don't get stuck in there either.
Attention, frein à droite en bon corde, 200 mètres à droite en bon corde. Et gauche, point léger surface, gauche, point léger surface, 180 mètres.
Through the right-hander, and let's listen to the instructions that Ogier is going to get as we come to this quick section.
180 mètres derrière.
Jumps his plus, that's French for fill your boots, and Ogier does. And the split timer reveals he is 0.7 of a second faster than Mikko Hirvonen. Norway's Mads Østberg isn't hanging around either. He says he's treating Finland now like the beginning of a new season. It's his way of getting over all the cars that he's broken so far this year. His new way of thinking seems to be working as well. Crucially, Mads also tested in Jyväskylä last weekend, so his confidence is up. What about his speed?
Full höger, håll ut. Flocken lite vinkel på grön vägdelen. I 6 vänster över lite krön 50. Lite hopp 70. Lite krön 50. Hopp på topp 40. Lite krön 60.
Watch the clock. Let's see how Osberg is doing. He looks as if he's giving it everything he's got, but the clock reveals he hasn't. Osberg is the slowest by 1.2 seconds. So mid-battle, it looks like Ogier is in the best shape, quicker than Hirvonen and Latvala. Osberg the slowest of the top 4 crews. And let's just update you on another Finn, because all of that flying seems to have ended in a heavy landing for Juho Ouch Hänninen, whose rally comes to an end after hitting a rock on stage 9. Rocks 2, Finns 0. There'll be no one more disappointed than him that he won't be on Unimpoja tomorrow.
And even though he was slowest through our split, Osberg was actually quickest through the full stage and takes the lead ahead of Ogier and Hirvonen. Neville now down to 4th, and with Hannonen's demise, it's Chris Meek who moves up into 5th place as we rejoin John.
In many rounds of the championship, Mats Osberg would by now have collected some scenery and lost a lot of the suspension from this fiesta. But Mats has put all that behind him here in Finland. He almost matches Sébastien Ogier, so he'll be very happy to still be 0.8 of a second ahead of the Frenchman as they go back into service.
All very close then. Confirmation Osberg's lead is down to just 0.8 of a second ahead of Ogier. Hirvonen losing ground in stage 10 too. The Citroën man now 7.5 seconds off the lead. Well, Finland's spectacular Rally HQ alongside Lake Päijänne is a big draw for rally fans every year. Thousands gathering to meet the heroes and watch the battle-scarred rally cars returning for repairs. Let's now see what Chris Meek has to say about that showdown with Yevgeny Novikov in stage 8.
Yeah, I arrived behind him and we radioed to the team. The team were speaking to Ford, and I don't understand what happened, you know. And he just kept driving in front of me for nearly 10 kilometers. He destroyed my front windscreen. I ran out of washer fluid. I ended up going off into the ditch because I couldn't see, and I got a puncture. So, yeah, he's been in the game long enough. He should know better.
I asked the team, and that they should inform us straight away. And we got the message when we pulled, and then we pulled over. But we didn't see him that he was so long time behind us.
Do you feel sorry for Chris because he lost a lot of time?
I understand. So what can I say? Sorry, of course, to him about that. But to be honest, next time it will be better. The team will send the message a bit faster.
Well, the Russians' mechanics have just 30 minutes to get that car fixed and ready for action. No such problems for the rally leader.
It's been a very good morning for us. I think everything has just been working the way we hoped, and we have just tried to do one stage at a time and try to go as fast as possible on each stage, and seems to be working quite well.
Yes, looking good for Mads, but we're only midway through the famous Rally Finland. Can the Norwegian maintain his challenge as we head now for the second pass through today's stages?
Stage 11. The drivers have been through this once already. The high-speed endeavours have rutted and roughened up this part of Finland already, so now the drive is much more uncomfortable. Sébastien Ogier doesn't appear to care. He wins both stages 11 and 12, and this could be the defining moment of the rally that you're seeing here. For Mikko Hirvonen, the roads have broken up so much under all of those cars that he can hardly recognise his own country. Watch what happens. He loses control of his Citroën in 5th gear in a corner. He hits a bank. He almost rolls his car onto his roof and picks up a couple of punctures just for good measure. It all means he leaves stage 12 in 4th place overall, and he's running out of kilometres over which to catch the French rally leader. This was a narrow escape, Mikko.
Marco, what happened?
We had a massive spin. I was sure it's gonna roll, but somehow from 5th gear corner we started to spin, hit the front, and in the air we did 360, and it was really a miracle we are here.
Whisper it quietly, everybody. That could be curtains for Hirvonen and Finland. So it's the run for home. The good news is it doesn't start up there. 2 stages to look at. And Andreas Mikkelsen has watched Mads Østberg claim the title of the best Norwegian driver here so far. He's not even really forced himself into the leading positions, but he's under orders from VW to finish this event.
Line 5 right plus top crest.
So, if he's been told that for his benefit he has to get to the end of this event, I wonder what they're going to make of what happened just there.
Line 6 left minus top crest. We have lost the wheel. Yeah. Line 6 left.
And how his car's going to look when he gets to the end of this stage.
Andres, huge disappointment towards the end of the second day. I mean, that's not going anywhere now. What happened?
I have no clue. It's straight out of the blue. We felt some vibration, and then suddenly I lost the wheel at 2 kilometers before the end. And since we just kept on going since we were almost through the finish line, but I have no clue. I didn't hit anything.
What about the other Norwegian? Well, they say in sport that you make your own luck, and the bad luck has returned for Mads. Ogier's closest rival clips a rock on the penultimate stage of the day. What a place to do it. Shatters a wheel, loses 25 precious seconds. That's a lifetime to Ogier. And second place to, well, you've guessed it, that flying Belgian, Thierry Neuville.
Mad, you're not being particularly happy with losing the time during the afternoon, but now with that puncture, that's it, it's finished, isn't it?
Yeah, unbelievable. It's just lottery now. I mean, it's rocks everywhere.
But Mads, this is the man who's managed to avoid all of the rocks, still in control of things. The plan is coming together for Sébastien Ogier. Ogier wins the second rung over Mokipera and through Lankamar as well, much of which he spends airborne.
Some place were really difficult this afternoon, very damaged the road, but we managed to pass and avoid the problem of all the puncture and with a good rhythm, so very happy with this afternoon.
And so he should be. Ogier ends the day with the lead of more than half a minute. Østberg's puncture sees him down to third. Better news for Chris Meek. He was given back the 23 seconds he lost in that battle with Novikov to close up on Hirvonen in 5th place. A dramatic day in the Finnish forests, one more to come. Ogier on the verge of his first victory here, but facing 8 more tough stages tomorrow, including the awesome Onimpoja. Hold on tight, that's next. Rally Finland, day 3, the grand finale in the forest. Sébastien Ogier, the man to beat, but still to negotiate the notorious Onimpoja. All 33 kilometres of it, one of the fastest stages in the sport, to be run twice, accounting for almost half of today's competitive distance. But before we see that, let's first catch up with events in the Sports Support Series, the WRC2. Well, there may not be a Finn on the main WRC podium, but Jari Ketemar has given the local fans something to cheer about. A dominant display at his home rally to take the WRC2 category in his Ford Fiesta R5 by almost a minute and a half, winning 13 of the 23 stages in the process. Another strong display from ex-Formula 1 star Robert Kubica, second place here in Finland. More evidence of his impressive switch from racetrack to rally stages after successive victories in Greece and Sardinia. Long trip, worth the effort for New Zealander Hayden Paddon, completing the podium positions in his Skoda, a further minute and a half behind Kubica, who now moves to within a couple of points of production car Cup champion Nicholas Fuchs. OK, time for the big one. The ultimate stage, 33 kilometers of the fastest road in the World Championship. Featuring some of the biggest jumps, gravity-defying, breathless, terrifying. For many, the greatest challenge for the world's greatest drivers.
Onnenpohja is very extremely high-speed stage, over the crests, over the jump, sometimes big jumps, you fly very, very long distances.
So fast, so demanding, well, test of your courage, really, and no excuses.
There's just corner after corner and kind of a small jump in every corner, so you're all the time flying sideways, and there's really, really big jumps. And it's a real roller coaster.
A lot of jumps. I think it's over 160 jumps in 33 kilometers, so it's a lot of things happening on the stage. You have everything from a narrow, twisty road to the very, very wide and fast road, and it's just a stage where you need to have 100% confidence.
The last seconds you feel your heart beating a little bit more. You just think, hopefully I don't want to crash in this stage, because in every corner you can do a small mistake and it will be a big off.
And we have certainly witnessed some big crashes here over the years. Once banned from the schedule for being too fast, the monster is now back. Here's John.
And here we are at last, the most famous stage in the entire World Championship, Onnenpohja. Unpronounceable, unforgettable. We're going to join Chris Meek for this roller coaster of a stage. There's a jump every 200 or 300 metres, a thrill every minute. And Meek competing here for just the second time, driving the specification Citroën for the very first time, and loving everything being thrown at him.
He carried in 4.
Wings over Finland.
Quickest so far. What's the secret?
Give me a Citroën. Oh man, that's my first time in there in 7 years. First time in a World Rally car. The best 15 minutes, 42.5 seconds of my life. That was superb.
Even better than your recent wedding to Danielle, Chris. The driver that holds the all-comers record on this most classic of roads is this man, Mikko Hirvonen. And if he fancies trying to break that record today, well, he's more likely to wait to the second pass over this holiest of grounds, because the stage is cleaning the more that it's used. And in front of Mikko is this relentless fight over second place. Let's remind ourselves of the situation. Mads Osberg starts this one with 2.2 seconds in hand over the Belgian Thierry Neuville.
24 vänster minus halvlång i krön. Till 6 vänster. Håll in upp med lite hopp, håll in över hopp.
That didn't look good. Now, what kind of mood is Neuville in? Day one was all about this guy. Every team boss in the service park was checking they had his mobile on speed dial. This fellow was very, very exciting. Day two, he got caught up with the chasing pack.
120 mètres. Très gauche, 20 mètres, droite vers épingle. 20 mètres, droite vers épingle. Tour 2 d'avance sur Irbo, kilomètre 21.
Now then, here he comes around that corner. And you know what's coming up next? Take your seats, strap yourselves in. You could stand under there and still not get hit by that car. If you really, really wanted to. Our clock compares his performance to Mads Osberg. He's looking for the red board at the end of the stage. We're looking for the red board at the end of the stage as well. The yellow one there tells him it's almost over. Check the clock and he goes quicker. Second place is his all over again.
Bravo. Ouais. Elle est géniale.
And so to the rally leader, Sébastien Ogier. The best driver of the championship is here meeting the best stage of the championship. He's dreamt of getting stuck into this one. You cannot win a world title if you can't tame the great Olympia. Here he comes. And there he goes.
I said that I dreamed to do this stage for a long time now with the World Rally car, and that was my first time, and it's just amazing. It's so nice.
And behind Ogier, that cracking battle for second saw Osberg and Neuville swapping places in the next couple of stages, with the Norwegian just 1/10 of a second ahead as they returned to Olympia.
Stage 22, and there's a thin line between love and hate. And on this bone-crunching second battle with this legendary country lane, Chris Meek finds that line and crashes through it.
Continues, opens for 100, big stop, give you over bump into 2 left.
Earlier he said this stage had given him the best quarter hour of his life so far. What happened there will stay with him for the rest of his life. It's pace notes out the window, hands in the air, and as this reveals from this fan, it's game over with just one stage to go. Another victim of this unforgiving place is Mads Osberg. He escapes with his car intact, just, but he loses second place. With little left to fight for, Mikko Hirvonen smashes his stage record. Thierry Neuville then takes that off the Finn. And Sébastien Ogier, the rally leader, shaves almost 5 seconds off that record, which has stood for almost, well, a couple of minutes. This is stage win number 12 for Ogier.
So Sébastien Ogier taking a healthy lead into the final stage. Neuville on course to match his best ever WRC finish of second, getting the better of that tussle with M-Sport teammate Osberg. And moving right up the leaderboard almost unnoticed, Danny Sordo set for a top 6 finish. Okay, time for the final test, the power stage. Your commentators, Julian Porter and Paul King.
Now, last couple of corners, 347.43, the time he's aiming for. Let's see what he can do. Narrowest of margins ahead, remember. That split, oh, he's got bogged down ever so slightly in that corner. 347.4, it's going to be very tight. I think he can beat it. He does! 0.8 of a second up on Lavela. Oh, unlucky. Jari Matti held on for a long time. Yeah, not quite, but what a drive that was from Thierry Neuville.
Well, let's enjoy these last 30 seconds of Rally Finland for Sébastien Ogier and Julian Ingrassia as they power their way through. The Finnish Forest this weekend have given us just the most amazing event. It's been fantastic. Here he is. He's not far away now. 346.6.
Yep, here we go. Hold on tight. Last corner to come. I think he's going to do it. No!
Neuville's done it!
Where did he lose that?
Yeah!
Wow. I think Neuville looks as surprised as we are. 0.3 of a second down for Ogier. Let's take a look at the final standings through that stage. That is 3 extra championship points for Thierry Neuville. Just 0.3 of a second in it between himself and Ogier. Ogier gets 2 points for finishing second. Lavela snaps up that final point for third. Didier Auriol, Carlos Sainz, Marco Martin and Sébastien Loeb were the only non-Scandinavians to have ever won this rally. Add to that list, Sébastien Ogier.
I'm so happy to join Didier and Seb on the list for the French one, and also Carlos. And yeah, I'm so happy. It's been a fantastic weekend for me. I had a dream always to win this rally, and this weekend it's just perfect. A lot of points for the championship and victory in Finland. So another big step to the title, so I'm so happy.
Yes, victory number 5 of the season for Ogier, a stunning performance. Thierry Neuville also impressive. Mads Osberg not enjoying the best of luck, but a strong run for third all the same. No Finn on the podium, extraordinary. The rest had problems, allowing WRC2 winner Jari Kettemar to move up to 7th. Some satisfaction for the home fans at least. As for VW, a job well done all round.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? And I think people say now winning gets normal. Winning is never normal. It's always something very exciting, and special Rally Finland. Rally Finland is a rally everybody wants to win. Yeah? And this is, let's say, if you ask for the season, what is a rally? A driver, a team wants to win. And if a car could talk, the car would say, I want to win Finland as well. That's for sure.
Your 5th victory for Volkswagen. Just talk us through, I mean, the championship now. I mean, it's looking really, really strong, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure, it looks really good, and also for the manufacturer side, so I'm really happy of that, and now I will try to do another good result in Germany for the team, because I believe it's important for them.
So Ogier takes another big step towards the World Championship, and on this form it's difficult to see anyone stopping the Frenchman. Thierry Neuville moving level on points with Latvala, turning into some season for him too. Mads Osberg making a bright start to the second half of the season. He'll be looking to build on that. A mixed weekend for the VW drivers, but Volkswagen still extending their lead in the Manufacturers' Championship after M Sport get the better of Citroën here in Finland. So the French wonder kid in his German livery shares the champagne with his wounded wingman, while the Belgian and the Norwegian on the second and third step can rightly celebrate their achievements. For the first time in a decade, not a single Finn on the podium for the locals to cheer. 1,000 lakes, hundreds of jumps, plenty of thrills and spills at the self-styled Gravel Grand Prix. That's it from John Desborough and myself, Kevin Piper. Thanks for watching. Our next stop is Germany. Bye for now.